You're listening to EFT Radio Online, where we explore meridian tapping techniques for self-help and peak performance. By listening to this audio, you agree to the disclaimer located at eftradioonline.com/disclaimer. If you'd like to get the schedule of all the upcoming EFT radio shows and access to archive shows, please visit us at eftradioonline.com, where you can subscribe to our free newsletter.
Welcome to EFT for your inner child and soul with best-selling author Cathryn Taylor. Known as the mother of inner child work, Cathryn is dedicated to teaching you her innovative EFT technique called interactive tapping. Interactive tapping combines Cathryn's 26 years of experience guiding you in the discovery of your inner child with EFT sequences. This combination empowers you to take responsibility for your own healing. Cathryn is a licensed marriage and family therapist and addictions counselor and is certified by EFT master Lindsay Kenny. Tune in every other week as Cathryn teaches you how to tap your way through addictions to abundance, through fear to faith, betrayal to trust. And now I'm proud to introduce you to the mother of inner child work, Cathryn Taylor.
Greetings and welcome. Welcome to today's show. Welcome to the end of the year tapping rampages that will enable you to befriend every aspect of who you are. We all are so multidimensional, not only in our personality, but also we have the many dimensions of our soul. And so as we move forward and as we evolve, it's real important that we acknowledge each of these aspects within us because they are all serving a purpose. They all have needs, and they all can contribute to our overall well-being and to our really establishing a joyous life. So today I want to talk a little bit about what I always talk about. I always talk about the addict, the inner child, the relationship or partnership with your human and higher self, and the multiple aspects and fragments of your soul. And I operate within those four aspects of us because they round out how we proceed in the world. They make up our perspective in the world. And I think it's real important for us to be able to determine whose eyes we're looking through as we are trying to attain some sense of serenity. If I'm acting out in my addict, then all of the law of attraction stuff and listening to the teachings of Abraham is not going to meet that need because that vibrational self cannot expand to even hear what that means. The addict within is usually the part of us who is out to distract. Those excessive behaviors take us out of the present moment. To be in the present moment equals danger. So that addict is born out of any trauma or challenge or hurt that we had up until the present moment. Now, most of them started or originated in childhood. Most of what our patterns are either came in with us on a soul level or they at least got activated in childhood. So when we're addressing the addict, we really need to just look at the behavior. And we need to pair the addict up with the healthy, recovering self. Each of us has a part of us that wants to get better, that wants to be present, that wants to not act out, but to act in healthy ways. So our first tapping sequence is going to be working with the addict that can really go crazy during the holidays. There's so much kind of draw to be excessive during the holidays, excessive financially, to overspend, excessive in terms of consumption, to overdrink, overuse, overeat. So, and if we're trying to run from any holiday pain, then the addict tries to distract in whatever way he or she can do it. So our first tapping rampage is going to be just working with that part of self who gets scared and gets overstimulated by all of the excessive input. So if you haven't tapped with me before, I encourage you to go to my website and go to the tab that says Interactive Tapping Explained, and there you will find 2 videos. The first one is the overview that Gary Craig has out, and it's a beautiful, beautiful overview of exactly what tapping is and how many different places tapping can take you. And then I have my interactive tapping. What I've done is applied the tapping energy and the tapping sequences to my modality, which is working with the relationships within. Started with the inner child, but I've certainly expanded in these 4 stages of recovery to working with the dyad of the human and the higher self, the dyad of the illuminated adult self, fragments of your soul, and of course the inner child and the inner parent. But for right now, we're going to start tapping on really befriending the addict from our healthy self so that you can make good choices during this holiday season. So again, visit my website if you've never tapped. If you have tapped with me, you know that I don't call out the points. We start on the karate, but when we get to the sequences and tapping on the end points, I just trust that you know where you're tapping. And I want you to be hydrated. And I want you to know that we are sending an electrical impulse through our energetic body so that whatever I'm saying, and I encourage you, if my words don't match, then give yourself permission to alter the words or take it where you need to take it. In the infinite wisdom of your psyche, it will know exactly what to neutralize. So even if you just tap on your karate or tap around and you just hear the words, your innate wisdom will take it exactly where you need to release and untie that knot. All right, so with all that said, we're focusing on the addict. We're addressing the excessive behaviors that can get stimulated so much during this holiday season. So come to your karate. Even though I have a history of many excessive behaviors, some known and unknown, I choose to enter into this holiday season befriending that addict within so that I can show him or her a healthy way to survive. So even though I have that addict within me who sees it whole purpose to distract and keep me safe, I want to access the healthy part of me. I want to draw on my support in the seen and unseen so that together my inner addict and I can make choices that serve our evolution and serve us as a whole. So even though it's easy to act out during this time of the year, I want to stay present. And I want to give my inner addict a different experience so that he or she can merge with me and see life through the lens of safety and love. All right, shake your hands out and start on your first point. We're going to neutralize the addict's fears and then ultimately integrate the addict with the recovering self. All of these fears, it's my responsibility to distract, to keep us safe. At this point, with some of my excessive behaviors, I've lost sight of the purpose. I just am biochemically triggered to respond to all of the input. I don't know how to say no. Sometimes I don't want to say no. I don't like the holidays. They bring up fear. I get overwhelmed. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to back off. And I need the support. I want to try a different way, but I can't do it alone. I need your support. Okay, now shake your hands out. And now we're going to do another sequence that has the recovering self talk back to the addict. So we're going to still be tapping on the endpoints. We're not going to do another setup. But I wanted to break the sequence because you're shifting selves. You are shifting the dyad that's being addressed. So again, start on your first point. I know that we have had many holidays where we've acted out, given in to our fears, numbed ourselves out with food, drug, or alcohol. And I do want to show you a different way. I do want to be present this year, to give us the present, being conscious and connected with each other. When you act out, you lose connection with me. And then you're lonely, and I'm lonely. And this year, it's about us. This holiday, it's about us. And together, we are going to try something new. Together, we're going to make good choices. We're going to stay away from the situations that would biochemically trigger us, emotionally trigger us, result in our feeling spiritually isolated and alone. This year, it's you and me walking through the excessive stimulus so that we can stay centered in the safety and the love that we can share. Okay, so shake your hands out. And that's just a little bit of tapping that can get you headed in the right direction with respect to the excessive behavior. Because as soon as you excessively act out, you step out of yourself. It's like you abandon yourself. And the behavior itself serves to numb you. Try going through this season being totally present without the exchange or the discharge of that frenetic energy, because the frenetic energy leads you into our second sequence. And that sequence has to do with the underlying feelings that our addict acts out, the underlying feelings that the addict has learned how to manage through the excessive behavior. It takes us into that child within us that really doesn't want the addiction. All the inner child wants is your love, to feel okay, to know it wasn't their fault. So come to the karate. And we're going to be talking to the inner child. So, before we start, just take a second. Take a little moment and get in touch with what your predominant feeling is. When you think of the holidays and you feel some unrest, find where in your body you feel that unrest. See if you can determine when you first felt that unrest. If you can't, that's okay. You can just relate to it as the uncomfortable part of self. But if you can see a time in your life, an inner child, then sometimes it helps to put an age to it, but it's not necessary. We're dealing with the feelings that came from childhood. So kind of tune in to what feeling state you're addressing. And then come back to the karate. And when we use the pronoun you, you're talking directly to that part of self. Whether you can see that part of self or not, you're talking to that feeling state. Karate. Even though the holidays bring up this fear and this sense of being unsafe, I'm here to tell you that I am the one that you've been waiting for. I'm here to listen to you, to respond to your needs, to recognize how important it is for you to feel safe. So even though we've had many, many holidays that have gone awry, some that have been abusive, have left their mark and made us scared, I'm here to tell you that together we can thrive. Together we can go through this and find new traditions, new reasons to celebrate, because it's you and I. All right, shake your hand out. Or your hands if your hand's free. All right, now come to your first point. There are so many scars left from previous times, fears that have to be quieted so that together we can find the true ecstasy of the holidays. You and I can move past what was then, because this is now. We can create our own traditions. We can celebrate in whatever way feels great. We can capture the ecstasy, the excitement, the merriment. Together, you and me, we can do this. It's not about the past. It's not about who gives us what, who makes us feel special. You are special to me, and I am the one you've been waiting for. Together, we will make this a special year. Together, we will establish our own way of celebrating. And whatever we share, we'll share with those who will respond. We have a right to create our own holiday bliss. And as long as we stay connected, we cannot go wrong with. So that gives you an idea of how to befriend that inner child and bring that inner child into alignment with you, so that together the two of you can just sail through the holidays and have fun and recapture some of that childlike excitement about the energy that's in the air. Come up with ideas of things that you can do. Let your inner child plan a day where you go and see the Christmas lights, or you go and see the Hanukkah displays, or you go and see Santa Claus, or you go and play in the snow, or you do whatever is exciting for you to do that has that holiday festivity feeling to it, because the two of you deserve that. All right, so shake your hands out. Kind of take a deep breath. Take a couple deep breaths. Just let it go. We're going to move into a little bit more of your higher self now. And this is moving out of the fears, and it's inviting your human self band vibrationally so that you really grab that angelic energy that's in the air. Because, again, it's a vibrational resonance. And as long as you breathe into your higher self and see the season through that vision, through those eyes, it's like you can expand and you can see the beauty everywhere. You don't have to see the pain. If you're vibrating at the frequency with your higher self, with your inner being, with that inner self, you will see everything that is glorified in front of you. If you're looking for that which is good, you'll see good. And aligning with your higher self is doing just that. So come to your karate. Even though my higher self, I have not been totally in alignment with you, I choose to vibrationally shift at this time. I choose to breathe and to meditate and to let that vibrational essence carry me to another plane. So even though I've had a hard time expanding and seeing the world through your eyes, I make my commitment to harmonize with you, to expand and feel the vibration of love. Okay, now I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to ask you to continue to tap on your endpoints, but instead of using words, I'm going to play this Tibetan song. Some of you have heard this. It's just 5 minutes worth of meditation. And I just want you to breathe with the music and just let it carry you into that higher vibrational self. Each breath that you take, each resonance that you have with the sound of the music will augment your vibrational connection to that higher self. So just take a moment and listen. It's just 5 minutes. Just keep tapping while you're listening. deep breath. The biggest gift your human self can give to all of yourselves, that illuminated adult self that orchestrates and organizes exactly what your evolution is. The best gift you can give yourself is 15 minutes of that type of meditation a day, where you clear your mind and you just let yourself breathe. I love this Tibetan music because with the not the words, but the humming in the background and then the gong, it's just every time I just feel that expansion of self. And afterwards, it's like you're resetting yourself. So I encourage you to do that, something like that every day. And then that takes us into being able to track the multiple dimensions of self where we may have suffered, and those patterns been brought through to us with the DNA. So we're going to now do a tapping sequence that just welcomes those aspects of your soul to come back into the light. And if there's needs to make themselves known, to make those needs known. So come back to the karate. Even though I know that I've been here before, that there's many parts of self, of my soul, that I can draw from, that I can respond. So even though I stand in the vibrational frequency of this human self, known as the I am that I am, I know there are other dimensional selves that hold their own story that deserves to be told. So even though there are times when I bring forth those old patterns, I now am willing to bring those in on behalf of my soul. Okay, take a deep breath. Come to your first point. All of these aspects, everything that I am, I choose now to invite you home. Known or unknown, I welcome you back. I'll see you to the light. Together, our soul is one. I now invite you to follow that vibration to your highest evolution, to let me know through my higher self what it is you may need to go home. I, during this holiday season, commit to be mindful of you, so together we can make our soul whole. Take a deep breath. Can you imagine those fragments of your soul that may be out there just waiting for your illuminated self to gain enough vibrational frequency to find it and to guide it home? You can use this holiday season to bring back those fragments. You can use this holiday season to expand into your higher self. You can use this holiday season to nurture and befriend that scared child. And you can go through the holidays hand in hand with your addict without acting out. Try it. Try being present this year. Try giving yourself the present of being present. So, the next time that I will be talking to you will be around the winter solstice. If you're in the northern hemisphere, and the summer solstice if you're in the southern one. But around December 21st, sometime that third week, I will offer you a broadcast where you are celebrating that full moon of the year. So, or is it the new moon? I'll have to check that out. I think actually it's the new moon. Full moon is summer. But the new moon is when we get to start things and we set our intentions, and then we go through that December to March kind of gathering the necessary components for those to be born in the spring. So the December 21st is a exciting day. Now, again, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then it's just the opposite. But we'll address that in about a month. Until then, have a very, very happy holiday season, and I look forward to speaking to you next month. Until then, be good to you and to those you love.
Thank you for tuning into EFT for Your Inner Child with best-selling author Cathryn Taylor on EFT Radio Online. You can listen live right here every other week, and you can also find information on Cathryn's programs and services, which feature her innovative tapping technique, by logging on to www.eftforyourinnerchild.com.